Hey guys, welcome back to Coffee and Questions. I'm so glad that you could join us again today as we try to ask questions that you want to know the answer to. Something that you're wondering about Christianity or life or the Bible or anything like that. So today I thought I'd ask the question, what is Lent? What is Lent? I mean, we're covering Easter themes, and this coming up week is Palm Sunday, and then in about a week and a half from today is Easter. And so some of us have a history with Lent, some of us don't. In fact, I can think back, I grew up with Lent as part of my family tradition dealing with Easter. It was just something that we did. And so every year we thought about it, we prayed about it, and we chose to give something up for the 40 days of Lent. And it could be any number of things, from chocolate to cookies. I gave up my pillow once for 40 days. In fact, I remember I think I was 9 or 10 years old when I gave up my pillow, and I remember going, I think this is the best one I've given up yet, because I had given up cookies, I think, the year before, and that was a really hard thing for a 9-year-old to give up. And so, you know, giving up my pillow as a 10-year-old is no big deal. Nowadays, I would have such a, I would not sleep very well for 40 days without my pillow. Let's just say that. All right. And so anyway, it was just an element to my life that I grew up with. And so we still continue to practice Lent. And it's something that we as Protestants have kind of a mixed bag of responses to. Some people feel like, oh yeah, we do Lent every year, it's a big part of it, of our life. Some people go, what is Lent? Why do we even, what does it even mean? Now, Lent is something that is typically connected to the Catholic Church. A lot of people think of Lent as a Catholic thing. And that's because the Catholics do celebrate Lent. What Lent is it's a 40-day period leading up to Easter in which people have given something up as a fast. All right, and its history, its roots actually stretch back, way back to the early days of Christianity. In fact, we know that it was the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD which established a 40-day fast leading up to Lent. During that time, and when that fast first started, they would only eat one meal a day, and that would be in the evening after the sun was gone down. Then eventually it shifted to 3 p.m. and eventually I think in the 1400s you could eat that meal at noon. You think about it, all these people working out in the fields, they needed to eat. Originally they gave up all meat and meat products and animal products. So they would give up milk and butter and eggs and everything like that as well. And those, again, it's easy for us as people to start off really gung-ho about something and really strong, and even in our personal life. I mean, how many of us have started a diet, right? And we're like, yes, I am committed. I remember doing the DASH diet because my doctor said, oh, you got high blood pressure. And so I started up with the DASH diet all gung-ho, and I stuck to it, and I lost weight and I got healthy, and I hung on really hard for about 3 months or so. And then after the doctor said, oh, your blood pressure is doing really well on the DASH diet, it was like, okay, I'm done. And I've never been consistent on the DASH diet or anything like that again, because it's easy to start out gung-ho with a lot of enthusiasm, and then for that enthusiasm to just kind of drift away. And that's kind of what happened with Lent. That at first it was this really high commitment that we had to it, and then it just kind of drifted away. And in the Catholic Church, eventually they got to the point where they were only fasting on Ash Wednesday and Good Friday, and maybe they would fast from meat on Fridays, depending on who they were and who they are. Now, what was the point of Lent? That's what Lent was, and that's what was happening in Lent, during Lent. But what was the point of it? Actually, early on, and I'll be honest, there's some writings that indicate, go back all the way to the 200 ADs, that indicate that they were writing about Lent, saying that it came from their forefathers. So we're talking about people as early as in the 100s. Some have argued even the apostles celebrated some form of Lent. But in that day and age, from best we could tell, is it might have been a 1 or 2 day fast just prior to Easter. And when the Council of Nicaea and everything set up Lent, it was kind of set up with the intention of people who are planning to get baptized. They would fast for these 40 days to prepare themselves for their baptism. Or if people had been, they had committed a mortal sin and needed to seek penance. They would engage in this period of Lent and fasting, and to kind of prepare themselves to come back into the church. They were excommunicated. They couldn't take the Lord's Supper until they had gone through this and kind of repented for their sins. And so that was kind of the origin of Lent, and what its purpose was kind of this idea of penance for our sins and preparation for walking with Christ. And when we do Lent as a family, and I talk to my kids and I tell them, look, Lent's not in the Bible. It's not something that is going to get you saved. It's not something that God says you have to do this. So when you become an adult, we ask you to do Lent because you're in our family, our house right now. But when you become an adult, it's going to be your decision what you want to do. But we talk about Lent not in the sense of penance, not in the sense of preparing ourselves for baptism or trying to right some mistake that we made. We talk about it in the sense that Jesus Christ, when he came to earth, he gave up so much. He gave up his equality with God. He gave up his time here on earth. Philippians says that he saw that equality with God was not something to be grasped, so he emptied himself of the form of God and became like humans and lived on earth. He left heaven just to live on earth for over 30 years. And then not only that, but he sacrificed his life for us. And so we talk about Lent in the sense of we give up something that's important to us, and not because it's going to save us, and not because it's going to make us right with God somehow, but to kind of help us think about how much Jesus gave up for us. There's something about that to help us understand his level of sacrifice and commitment to us, and then we can pray about it and think about it. And yes, fasting is a great way of connecting with God. It's saying, I'm going to set aside these things, this food, this item, this whatever it is, and I'm going to use it. Whenever I'm thinking about that, I can use that as an opportunity to pray. I can use that time that I would normally be doing whatever it is, watching Netflix or whatever. I can use that time to be in prayer with God. And so it's an opportunity to deepen our relationship with God and to better understand the level of commitment that Jesus had for us. So that's what Lent means to me and how we utilize it. And that's a brief history of what Lent was like. Again, like many of the other things that surround Easter, the intention of this needs to not be focused on Lent. Lent does not save us. Lent is not important for us in order to make sure that we are right with God. Lent is an opportunity for us to train ourselves to better understand Christ and the concept of giving up something important to us so that we can better focus on God in our life. And so all fasting helps us with that. All fasting helps us to realize that this world and the things that it offers are not important. This world and the things that it offers are not something that should hold on to us and hold us and grip us and control us. And so fasting is a way to let go of those and instead turn our eyes to Christ and the things that are spiritual. And so this season or next season, as you consider Lent and you think about it, as I tell my kids, it's completely up to you, one way or the other. It's not going to save you. It's not going to condemn you. But it can be a tool to help you better understand what Jesus went through and to deepen your relationship with God. All right, thanks for hanging out, guys, and I hope this helps you as you consider Lent and you consider all things Easter. As always, Easter is all about Jesus Christ and his death on the cross and his resurrection from the grave that brings us freedom and new life. All right, I hope to see you again next week. Thanks. Bye.